Hello everyone, are you excited for today's story? Me too. The story that we're going to explore in this video is very interesting and symbolic. Let's go find out. But before that, I will introduce to you the title first and its author. Are you ready? You should be ready. Come on! In William Faulkner's timeless short story, A Rose for Emily, the titular character's enigmatic persona serves as a focal point for haunting exploration of Southern Gothic themes and the complexities of human nature. Set in a small town in the American South, Faulkner invites readers into the world where tradition clashes with change, and the past exerts a profound influence on the present. Through the lens of Emily Grierson, a once respected figure whose descent into madness and isolation captives the imagination, Faulkner crafts a narrative that transcends its temporal and geographical confines to offer timeless insights into human condition. With its evocative prose, Faulkner's A Rose for Emily stands as a literary tour de force, inviting readers to peel back the layers of a character shrouded in mystery and to ponder the deeper truths lurking beneath the surface of Southern society. Who's William Faulkner, by the way? Let's get to know more about him. William Faulkner is the eldest of the four sons of Mary Cuthbert and Maud Butler Faulkner, born on September 25, 1897 in New Albany, Mississippi. He was an American novelist and short story writer acclaimed for his complex narratives and rich literary style. Faulkner grew up in Oxford, Mississippi, where he developed a deep connection to the landscape and culture of the American South, which would later influence much of his writing. Despite a passion for literature, Faulkner dropped out of high school to work in his grandfather's band, but his love for storytelling never waned, and he continued to educate himself by reading extensively. In 1918, Faulkner enlisted in the Royal Air Force during World War I. Although the war ended before he saw any active duty, after the war, he briefly attended the University of Mississippi but left without graduating. Faulkner then moved to New Orleans where he worked odd jobs while honing his craft as a writer. In about 1924, he published his first novel, Soldier's Pay, which received critical acclaim but limited commercial success. However, it marked the beginning of Faulkner's literary career and set the stage for his future works. Faulkner's breakthrough came with the publication of Sound and the Fury in 1924 or 1929, a novel hailed for its innovative narrative techniques and profound exploration of Southern life. Over the next decades, Faulkner produced a series of masterpieces, including As I Lay Dying, Light in August, and Absalom, Absalom. His writing styles, characterized by stream of consciousness narration, nonlinear storytelling, and intricate plots, revolutionized American literature and earned him widespread recognition as one of the greatest writers of the 20th century. Despite struggling with alcoholism and financial difficulties throughout his life, Faulkner continued to produce notable works, winning the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1949 for his powerful and artistically unique contribution to the modern American novel. He remained fearlessly dedicated to his craft, often writing for hours each day in his home in Oxford, which has since become a museum honoring his legacy. Faulkner passed away on July 6, 1962, but his literary influence endures, with his novels and short stories still studied and celebrated for their profound insight into the human condition and the complexities of Southern history and culture. By the time of his death, Faulkner had clearly emerged not just as the major American novelist of his generation, but as one of the greatest writers of the 20th century. Unmatched for his extraordinary structural and stylistic resourcefulness, for the range and depth of his characterization and social notation, for for his persistence and success in exploring fundamental human issues in extensively localized terms. The Nobel Prize The Nobel Prize had a major impact on Faulkner's private life. Confident now of his reputation and future sales, he became less consistently driven as a writer than in earlier years and allowed himself more personal freedom, drinking heavily at times and indulging in a number of extramarital affairs, his opportunities in these directions being considerably enhanced by a final screenwriter assignment in Egypt in 1954 and several overseas trips undertaken on behalf of the U.S. State Department. He took his ambassadorial duties seriously, speaking frequently in public and to interviewers, and also became politically active at home, taking positions on major racial issues in the vain hope of finding middle ground between entrenched Southern conservatives and interventionist Northern liberals. William Faulkner is renowned for his prolific body of work, which includes numerous novels, short stories, and essays. Some of his notable works include: first is As I Lay Dying in 1930, written in a stream of consciousness styles. This novel follows the Bondren family as they journey to bury their matriarch, A.D. Bondren, and explores themes of death, grief, and family dysfunction. Second one is The Light in August in 1932. Set in the racially charged atmosphere of the American South, this novel tells the story of Joe Christmas, a biracial man struggling with identity and social expectations. Third is Absalom in 1936, widely regarded as one of the Faulkner's greatest achievements. This novel explores the rise and fall of Thomas Sutpen, a Southern plantation owner, and delves into themes of race, family, and legacies of the past. Fourth is Go Down Moses in 1942. This collection of interconnected stories examines the history and legacy of slavery in the South, focusing on the McCaslin family and their interactions with African Americans in the region. Fifth is The Wild Psalms or The Wild Palms in 1939, also known as If I Forget Thee, Jerusalem. This novel intertwines two narratives, one of convict and his lover on the run and the other of a doctor and his pregnant patient, and explores themes of faith, redemption, and the human condition. Sixth is The Hamlet in 1940, The Town in 1957, and The Mansion in 1959, known collectively as the Snopes Trilogy. These novels follow the rise of the Snopes family from poverty to power in the fictional Yoknapatawpah country, showcasing Faulkner's keen observation of Southern society. These works, among others, solidify Faulkner's legacy as one of the most influential and innovative American writers of the 20th century, known for his richly layered narratives, complex characters, and profound exploration of the Southern experience.
Hello! My name is Jerelie Bertanji Sabalo, and I am here to present the analysis of the story entitled A Rose for Emily by William Faulkner. So starting from the title, A Rose for Emily, it is actually symbolic because it suggests a tribute or a memorial for Emily, who is the main character of the story, highlighting the theme of honor and remembrance. Now moving on for the plot summary, the story is actually set in the fictional town of Jefferson, Mississippi, and follows the life of Emily Gerson, who is an eccentric and reclusive woman from a once prominent family. The narrative is actually nonlinear, with events presented out of chronological order. So what is the story all about? Actually, the story begins with Emily's funeral and then jumps back in time to explore her life. Emily's father, a controlling figure, drives away potential suitors, leaving her isolated and dependent. And after his death, Emily refuses to acknowledge his passing for days, indicative of her inability to accept change. Soon after, Emily forms a romantic attachment with Homer Barron, a Yankee construction worker, which scandalizes the town due to their differing social statuses and the implication of interracial relationships. Emily purchases arsenic, leading the townsfolk to speculate about her intentions. Sadly, Emily's relationship with Homer ends tragically, with his disappearance. Decades later, Emily's death reveals a shocking secret. She had been living with Homer's corpse, a macabre act of preserving love and preventing abandonment. Then what are the themes of the story? First is isolation and loneliness. Why? Because Emily's seclusion and alienation from society symbolize the consequences of rigid social expectations and familial control. Second is decay and decline. The decaying Gerson house mirrors Emily's deteriorating mental state and the decline of the Old South. Third is tradition versus progress. The clash between tradition and progress is evident in Emily's resistance to change and the town's evolving social landscape. Lastly is the effects of time. The story explores how the time erodes the past and reshapes perceptions as evidenced by the changing attitudes toward Emily and her family. Next is about the character analysis. First is Emily Gerson. She is a complex character trapped by tradition and haunted by the past. Her actions, including the murder of Homer, stem from her desire for control and the fear of abandonment. Second is Homer Barron. He is a symbol of change and modernity because Homer's relationship with Emily challenges societal norms but ultimately leads to tragedy. The third is the townspeople. They serve as a collective narrator because they gossip about Emily's life and imposing their own interpretations on her actions. Next is symbolism. The first symbolisms found in the story are first, the Gerson house. The Gerson house represents the fading glory of the Old South and Emily's trapped existence. The second is Emily's hair. It symbolizes her defiance of social norms and her refusal to conform to expectations. The third is the watch. It symbolizes the passage of time and the inevitability of change. Lastly is the narrative style and then the conclusion. For the narrative style, William Faulkner's use of a non-linear narrative and shifting perspectives of the story creates a sense of mystery and ambiguity, inviting readers to interpret the story's events and themes. And for the conclusion, A Rose for Emily is a haunting exploration of the human psyche, societal decay, and the complexities of love and loss. William Faulkner's masterful storytelling and rich symbolism continue to captivate readers, making the story a timeless classic in American literature.